Hi, this is Diego Otegi again, and today the main topic of this short video is the discussion about the difference between man-made disasters and what are regularly called natural disasters. So probably many of you have heard of this distinction, but there are very few people that know the implications of this conversation and how it was originated. So essentially, in the world of disaster sciences, this distinction makes a lot of sense. It has been a very innovative area of discovery within the realm of disasters and emergencies because uh, there are before we used to think that all disasters are the same, but then with research we started noticing that that different types of disasters have enormous implications in the world of emergency management. Now, that distinction between man-made and natural disasters originally was a discussion that was mostly about the origins of the disaster itself. So it was, considering an event that it was caused by natural events such as an earthquake, and then everything else such as terrorist attacks or oil spills or ethnic cleansing, you name it. So, but then the reality is that the while the literature supports this, that once the society in its entirety understands what caused the disaster, then that has implications in the consequences of the disasters. Not so much in the direct impact, right, in terms of destruction, but in the way that societies react to those disasters. So even, and essentially, let's say that you hear an explosion, right? It is not the same if society understands and is informed that that explosion was created by a gas leak versus, the same type of explosion, but that was created by a terrorist attack. And that distinction is very important because it has consequences all the way to the level of politics, right, and policy making. Now, the reason or the main um, argument that I wanted to bring to your attention is that in the last several years, especially the United Nations with its specialized agency, it is called the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction Office, UNDRR, has been supporting and emphatically that we should not be talking about natural disasters anymore. The main reason for this, and there is a valid argument behind this, is that when you talk about natural disasters, they say it gives the impression that humans are not, are, how do you say it in English? That there is nothing that basically you can do about it. Those events are given and they are beyond your possibility of doing something about it. And the main reason for doing that is because there is a very large and very strong and very powerful movement. So everybody nowadays, around the world, is paying attention to how we create those risks. Now, all that I wanted to bring to your attention is that that is a valid point, but we always have to keep in mind, and I've been emphatically saying this, that emergency management is of all the disciplines that are that intend help human beings is probably the one that is less human-centered, right? And we are paying so much attention to other things, such as the way that we organize ourselves, that we lose track of what is important to us, which is essentially the people that we're trying to help. And from my point of view, as somebody that comes from, the global south and an underprivileged community, I understand that once you make that distinction, but you kind of you apply the same idea to everybody, saying that disasters are not natural, right? You are implying that we all around the world are basically guilty in a way, or we are part of the problem because we are creating those situations and those risks. Now, what are those implications for those that, in my mind, they really have nothing to do with it? So, and this brings us to that very interesting conversation about who is guilty then if the disasters are not natural, and we want to emphasize that there is like human hands are also guilty. There is a place for humans, and we have to put that into the formula and into consideration. Then we have to go a little bit deeper and start analyzing what are or who is to blame, right? And this is, I don't have an answer. Excuse me. All I wanted to say is that from our point of view as experts, and once you consider that what we have to do is to keep the people that we are trying to help as like in the center, and everything should be built around that idea on how we can help those individuals, not just with the provision of services, but also in a way that is ethical, that is dignifying. And so what can we say if us emergency managers are saying that even those that live in absolute poverty and have been marginalized and discriminated against, we also tell them that they are part of the problem because they are guilty in creating those risks. And yes, you can make the argument that they put themselves in the path of harm, right? Because let's say they built that house in a place that was unsafe or unsecure, but at the end of the day, you know that they don't have much choices or many choices, right? There are certain characteristics and circumstances in their lives that make that those decisions are pretty much given to them. So with this, I want to thank you again for watching these videos. I hope that this small monologue sparks some conversations and some ideas about how we should continue defining disasters. Thank you so much and stay well.